Oh, thank you very much, Helen. Thanks a lot. And thanks to everybody who's joined the webinar today. I can see it's 44 as the participant number, so that's great. Yeah, look, I'd like to talk about some work that we've been doing, funded and in partnership with the Geological Survey over, I guess, about the last 18 months. And some of you may be familiar with the Mineral Deposit Atlas we did up in northwest Queensland over the last 3 years. And so now we're tackling northeast Queensland. Before I get going, I guess there's a list of people here who've been involved in writing the various chapters and doing the different pieces of work for the Mineral Deposit Atlas. So I just acknowledge the involvement of all of those people. They're all from the SMI here, Sustainable Minerals Institute. So look, for anybody who's not familiar with the Mineral Deposit Atlas concept, I guess it was put together by Rick Valenta and Helen, I guess, several years ago. And the aim is to act as a reference and a compilation document with a focus on documenting the deposit characteristics and the halo and signature from an exploration perspective. And we've taken the approach of specifically avoiding too much conversation about genesis and large-scale tectonic setting, etc., very much with a focus on what the deposit looks like in the deposit, in the inner halo, and I guess in the distal halo, both in the geology, your mineralogical halo, etc., and your geochemical halo and your geophysics. So it's really aimed at giving people a look at what these deposits look like without having to, if they can't get out into the field, for example, to have a look at them firsthand. So the Deposit Atlas has consisted, I think, of 9 chapters, the Northeast Queensland. And each chapter comprises 2 parts. So there's a document which essentially has, we'll get onto in a minute, but has photos of the rocks, some maps of the geochemical data and geophysical data that's available, etc., and your type sections through the deposit, for example. And then there's also the 3D Atlas, which is where we're trying to put all that data and integrate it into a single context, so that you can understand where those data points sit around the deposit. Are they the inner halo? Are they the outer halo? Is there a zonation in a particular direction, etc., which is often difficult to understand if you're just looking at tables of data or even just sections and plans. And so that 3D Atlas, it's put together in Geoscience Analyst, which is a freely available software platform done by the Myra people who are involved with GoCAD. But we also put all that data, publish that data as well in its raw format that we've collated it in, so that if people are not using Geoscience Analyst, they can take all that data into whatever is their favourite 3D geology platform and work with it themselves, as I know we all like to have our own favourites. So the mineral deposits in the Atlas, so there's 11 deposits and fields covering 4 metal associations. And we were just talking before we came online about gold, and gold is not included in this atlas because it's been done in conjunction with the New Economy Minerals Initiative at the GSQ. So the deposit types and commodities we've covered have been tungsten. You'll see 3 tungsten deposits there. 1 nickel scandium down at Scone, and that's down in the southern area down here. 6 tin deposits that are clustered, I guess, around the Herberton area, and a couple further, or 1 out to the west, Tate River, and then also some base metal and tin deposits, mainly Mount Garnet. I guess there's a little bit of base metals up at Belgammon as well. So that's the deposits that we've covered in this Northeast Queensland Atlas. Data sources. I guess Northeast Queensland has been a focus for a long while in terms of mineralisation, and when you look at a lot of the deposits up there, a lot of them were worked in the 1900s, last century, and there's a lot of data available. Although the older data gets, the more difficult it is to dig out, put together, and really integrate. But so we've taken data primarily, I guess, from the Department of Resources. A couple of these deposits were handed over as abandoned sites to them, and they inherited a lot of data. And as well as that, from the Geoscience data portal, it's an absolute trove of data there if you're ever looking for anything. Historic research, theses, collaborative research projects. A lot of work, I guess, happened particularly out of JCU in the I guess 80s and 90s, and then GSQ and a renewed JCU push, I guess in the 2010s as well. Public material, all those academic papers, monograph volumes, etc., as well as stock exchange releases. A lot of the deposits are sort of at the smaller end that we've been looking at, and that they were held by junior mining companies or junior exploration companies. And of course, that they need to be putting anything material information out to the public. So we've found a lot of that. And I guess finally, government databases, the GSQ data portal and Geoscience Australia as well have a fantastic data collection. So that's where we've sort of tried to pull that data together from. And so what we've tried to do with the Atlas is not write another academic paper or indeed a report. We've tried to put it together as a standard sort of atlas that you probably remember from when you were a kid. And you would be sitting with it on your coffee table and flicking through all the maps and all that sort of stuff, which is absolutely fascinating. So what we've done, and there's an example here on the right, is take some of those data sets and we put them all at the same scale, all over the same area that covers these key deposits, so that you can actually sit and see what things look like in, for example, this is the radiometric data or the gravity or the stream sediment geochemistry, etc. So it's a really nice sort of, almost coffee table style book if you're into that sort of thing. So not a lot of text. We really want people to be looking at those images and maps. So I just thought, as to give you an indication of what's in the atlases, we just have a quick look at a couple of the tungsten deposits. So you'll see those tungsten deposits are sitting up here. The key deposits, Wolfram Camp, Mount Carbine, and Watershed. They all sort of sit out where you've got the Hodgkinson Formation with the Kennedy granites intruding that, rather than the tin deposits are more down here where the outcrop is granite dominated. So Wolfram Camp, so this is an example of a very old field. It was discovered in 1888 and then closed in 2018. So what's that, about 140 years of activity, 130, 140 years of activity. And you can see the old workings there. So there was a lot of old data, but fortunately there was a new database that GSQ had, so that we were able to pull that in and start to pull some of this information out. So this is a screen grab from the Geoscience Analyst 3D model. And for example, here you can see the underground workings that we've managed to get hold of. This blobby shell is actually the molybdenum isosurface within the deposit, and you can see some of the drilling there. So we've tried to put drilling in as much as possible in these models. And then this other orangey shape, for example, here is the altered granite contact, James Creek granite here. So this is the sort of stuff that we're trying to pull into the 3D models, whatever information we can get together. And really it's to try and give people an understanding of what's the geometry of the ore body or the ore lenses, or indeed the geometry of the alteration shells as well. Because, really, well, I guess we all know once you stick something into 3D, it's often a lot more digestible. And then this is a section, for example, from Wolfram Camp. We try and put in a section and a plan and some rock shots and all that sort of stuff as much as we can, which is, I guess, more the sort of classical 2D representations. So that was Wolfram Camp. And there you go. So these are sort of rock shots that we've gotten from various places and tried to put them in the atlas. If you can't get a hand specimen, then these nice high resolution photos really help out to understand what it might look like. Mount Carbine is the other or one of the other two tungsten deposits we've put in there. Nathan Fox is doing quite a bit of work up at Mount Carbine. This is one of his photos. Beautiful pit with those sort of subvertical quartz veins there. And so what Nathan's done in this case, for example, is take the 3D the vein sets and try and put that together with all the drilling and the various geochemical and alteration halos around that system. So this is, you can see in this case, it looks like it's been put together in Leapfrog, but then we've pulled that into Geoscience Analyst so that it can be a little more shareable, I guess, in terms of, you know, not everybody has access to commercial software. So that's a quick overview of what's in there. So the delivery, as I mentioned, hard copy PDF atlas and a 3D data compilation with the raw data and the Geoscience Analyst project. And then where you can get that, this is a couple of links. The top one here is the GSQ data portal, which is an absolutely fascinating place to go. You should go and have a look. You never know what you'll find in there. It's fantastic. So if you search for just NEQ, I think, you'll come to the page that has all of these atlases links on it. And then there is also on our SMI website as well, you'll be able to find those. So that's good. I hope you can make use of them, and let's hope they help people realise maybe when they're drilling, if they're close to a deposit, and whether they should keep drilling or which way they should move. And we'll hear about all those discoveries coming from Northeast Queensland. So thanks for that. 11 minutes, sorry.